If you feel like you're always behind, always catching up, always one notification from life falling apart, then this is for you. Because when your life feels urgent all the time, it doesn't necessarily mean that you're being productive. It usually means that your attention is being rented out a little bit at a time. Here's a 4-step reset to get your mind back and stop living like you're on constant emergency mode. 1. Run the reality test. Before you respond to that message, look at that notification, jump to the next task, ask yourself, what changes if I don't do this? What breaks if I don't handle this right now? And I don't mean what breaks socially or what breaks emotionally, I mean in reality. What actually would change if you didn't respond, didn't look at the notification, and didn't switch task to something else when you're in the middle of something already? Because a lot of things that show up as urgency aren't. They're just pressure, and pressure can feel like urgency, but it's not. Most of the time, the true answer for what breaks is nothing, or it can be handled later, or it might be an inconvenience, but it's not a catastrophe, or someone just has to wait. And the important part about this is that if you don't stop your brain from doing that, it will just jump straight to the catastrophe. It will just automatically assume that this thing needs to be done immediately unless you control that. And that's the problem, is that when you treat everything like it's urgent, then your nervous system gets wired up to treat everything like an emergency. Even when you go to rest, your mind is still looking for that next thing, that next issue, that next problem, that next notification, and it doesn't ever actually get the chance to recover. So the reality test gives you a way to determine what actually deserves your attention and what can wait until you have the attention to spare. Your phone doesn't decide, the algorithm doesn't decide, and somebody else's life doesn't decide. You do. 2. Choose your one main thing. Most people lose track of their attention and their time in their day because they start their day off with somebody else's priorities, not their own. Inbox, group chat, news, workplace drama, a random side quest from a notification that you just happen to receive. 2 hours flies by, you're behind, now you're stressed. Do this instead. Every day, pick one thing that makes your life better in the long term and do that. Not 10 things, just one. This becomes an anchor for your day. And if your day has an anchor, you're not just a sailboat in a storm. You actually have something to keep you stable in those turbulent moments. Your one main thing could be anything so long as it's productive. Something like training, writing, learning a skill, making time to plan out your schedule for the week, relationship time, rest and recover if you need that, if you're burnt out. Whatever it may be, it should serve your benefit, and it should be something that you choose to do to take care of yourself. The point is that it's something that should create progress over the long term, and it should be sustainable, and you should make time to do it each day. And the cool part is that it's not about being perfect. That's not the goal. You're not trying to perfect anything here. You're just protecting this bit of time and your attention and focusing on this one thing. Because if you don't have this thing that kind of grounds you throughout the day, things that seem urgent will volunteer themselves into your attention span, and then they'll take your attention span on that little side quest with them. And the important things in life don't really volunteer themselves. They require us to pay attention to them. You're not asking yourself, what do I feel like doing today? You're asking yourself, at the end of the day, what would it take for me to feel proud about how I spent my time and attention today? And then that's the thing that you can do. And that one thing reminds you that you have control and you can create direction in life. You don't have to be pulled in the direction of things that grab your attention. 3. Build friction between you and distractions. If a distraction is one tap away, most often we're going to tap. It's not a failure. That's just how we're designed, and that's how these things that grab our attention are designed. They're specifically designed to grab our attention. So instead of trying to discipline your way out of the attention trap, what you do is you make it harder for yourself to enter the attention trap. You build friction. You turn off unnecessary notifications. You put your phone upside down so you can't see the screen. You use do not disturb mode. You block out time so that you can focus on things that are important. Move social media apps off your home screen so you're not tempted by them. Unfollow accounts on social media apps that seem to get you in that doom scroll loophole. Because a lot of people live life with their attention span being an open door and anything just walks right in. This means that your mind is never fully settled. You're not allowed to relax without your mind being on high alert that you should be paying attention to something. And your attention span gets held hostage and it robs you of time that could be productive. Friction creates pause, and in that pause, it gives you enough time to think about how you respond and if you should respond, because you're not an automated response system. You're not a machine. And this is true even when it comes to people. A lot of times the things that we think we have to respond to instantaneously, they don't actually require the instant response we think they do. We just don't like the feeling of potentially disappointing someone, feeling as though we've let them down, or we might miss out or be seen as unavailable to someone. Being constantly available isn't a virtue. It's a vulnerability, and not in the good sense. 4. End your day with a scoreboard. If you don't measure it, you'll end up off track. And so at the end of each day, go through your mental checklist and recognize what things pulled you off track. What can you pay attention to less of and still get through the day? No self-attack, no guilt, just awareness. Be aware of it. What this does is it trains your pattern recognition. It allows you to identify the kinds of things that throw you off. Is it people? Is it particular apps? Is it a mood? Is it a certain time of day, certain environments? Once you're aware of that, you can actually prepare for it. The second thing it does that's really important is it builds trust with yourself. So if you understand that this thing, it could be a problem for you, and you understand that awareness allows you to prepare for it, then when it arises, you get the opportunity to choose differently when you take that pause moment. And then each time you do this, you actually build a sense of self-trust that, oh, I can actually do things differently. I don't have to let my attention just be held at ransom, and I can actually control my life and the direction and the things that I pay attention to. And secretly, that's what's going on underneath all of this, is it's a loss of a feeling of control. And when you're able to regain that control, you regain a sense of confidence along with it. You don't need to move faster, you need to move with clarity. Run the reality test. Pick one thing. Build friction and keep score. You'll be amazed at how much calmer you can be, how much more focused you can be, and how much more you could get done. And then if you compound this over the course of a year, 2 years, 3 years, imagine the person you could become. Until next time, always stay up to no good.